Well, good evening. This is the January 29th, 2024 Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. I'm Nick Swell, the chairman. To my left is Commissioner Benjamin Olszewski. I am Benvenuti to my left. To my right is Benjamin Olszewski. You getting close?
Close enough,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm working on it. In addition, we have Pat Stacio, our Parks and Recreation Director. Okay. Should I start all over again? No. Sean Kilkenny, our Township Counselor. Matt Candlin, our Township Manager. And I think I got through that. Okay. Are there any presentations or announcements?
Actually, there is an announcement. I wanted to follow up on the email that we sent out to you guys earlier today. We learned late Friday that our power line grant received a grant in the amount of just under $2.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was, so we're very excited about that. As you probably remember, we've been working on that. We didn't get it last time around. And I know Anton and Pat and other folks have been working hard on getting this, a lot of meetings, at least a couple meetings with the grantor and PICO. And so I think it's a big announcement, I think, 2.5.
So Pat, what would the grant cover?
The grant would cover installation of a walking trail from about 200 yards, I guess I'll call it east of Maryland Road, near Jamestown Village. It would go to Maryland Road, then from Maryland Road to Maryland Road, because it's kind of a horseshoe road, out to Blair Mill Road. It would also include a parking lot in that area, signalization for pedestrians that are crossing the roadways, a bridge over a small creek in that area. And it would connect to the Horsham Power Line Trail on the west side, and on the east side, or maybe the north side or south side. And on the opposite side, the Cross County Trail will be coming through that area, and this little spur will connect to the county trail, which will take folks all the way through Upper Moreland Township eventually, out to Masons Mill Park and into the Pennypack Trail onto Philadelphia. So this is Upper Moreland is a kind of a last piece fit in, and this grant, I'm very excited to receive that.
And with my institutional memory, this has been going on for 2 or 3 years, and it seemed impossible at the time.
It did. We had an agreement with PICO for the last 15 years or thereabouts for this property, and PICO's trail agreements have been dwindling over the years. They don't want as many trails under their power lines. However, we met with them on multiple occasions, and they've approved this for us. And then it went to the granting agency, which ultimately approved the funding.
That's great. Once again, another freebie for the township, more or less.
I just want to say good job to you and your staff on this, as well as Anton, to get this. The DVRPC grant, and you can correct me, I think, this is a reimbursement grant. We build it, they pay you back as we go. We just have to pay for engineering, which we can use our own in-house. So we only have to pay that, and for permits, if we have a PennDOT permit or something like that. That's the only charges that we have in this whole grant, right?
That's correct. There's no match for this grant, so it would be the engineering fees, which are 50% done at this point, because we needed to provide those to PICO before they would approve us using the property. And there are going to be some permit fees, and I suspect permits could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months. It's not I think it will be an easy permit application and process. There's no wetlands or anything like that to speak of.
Great, good job.
I also just want to say congratulations and thank you. I'm super excited. I think the trails are awesome amenities, and Upper Moreland will be great. All the connections, and so thank you.
Every survey we've done and every master plan process, the number one amenity that folks are looking for is trails. So this will certainly be a connection to the Horsham Power Line Trail. And again, when Montgomery County comes through Upper Moreland, which they're supposed to do here within a very short time period, this will connect to that, and you can literally get on a bike or walk dozens of miles throughout up Montgomery County. We're very excited.
Great. Awesome.
This is a great committee to be chair of, I think. It's always good news. Okay, approval of the minutes from November. Guess I was the only one who was there.
Yep. No issue.
I have no issues either. All right, the Parks and Recreation report, Mr. Stacio.
Thank you, Commissioner. In front of you, you have our monthly report. It's for November and December, since we did not meet in December. It's made up of 3 components for our new commissioners on the committee. We have an administrative section, which is my section. We have the recreation section, which is our assistant director, Kate Kohler, provides that information. And we have our maintenance section, which is from our parks foreman, Jim Murphy. A couple of highlights, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. On the administrative side, continued to monitor the environmental improvements at Farmstead Park. We received over $600,000 in grants for environmental improvements. That project is now complete. We've submitted for some reimbursements. We've already received about $290,000 in reimbursements, and we just applied for another $290,000. They do hold 10% from the one granting agency and 15% from the other until the project is completed. All that's left to do, when I say it's complete, all the environmental improvements and walking trail improvements are done. The Public Works Department is going to pave that parking lot at Farmstead Park and add a little more trail blacktop instead of the limestone grit that we currently have. That work will happen late spring or summer when the weather is conducive to that. Did have an opportunity with our assistant director to speak before the Willow Grove Rotary. Maybe once a year, the Rotary invites the Parks and Recreation Department to come out and speak and provide updates on our services and township services. Always excited to meet with our community organizations and provide information. And it always surprises me. I always give a little quiz, and I ask how many parks are in Upper Moreland Township. That's usually my first question. And folks that have lived here forever, and this is not a knock on any of them, don't realize we have 19 parks in Upper Moreland Township. So if I'm speaking at your community group in the future, be prepared for that question. On the recreation side, our fall programs have all ended. A couple of special events I just want to note. We have a turkey fowl shooting contest at the middle school gym. If you make the most foul shots in your age group, you win a gift certificate now for a frozen turkey. We used to bring the frozen turkeys. We don't do that anymore. Holiday mini photo session at Farmstead Park in partnership with the Farmstead Alliance. You bring your family, and we have a photographer there, and it's a 15-minute sitting session, and they take photos for holiday pictures. Sold out again this year. Santa calls. We have youngsters, families call us. We made 64 calls to as Santa. We have a connection with the North Pole, so Santa returns all those phone calls. I'd like to thank our Park and Rec Advisory Council for assisting with all of these special events. Without their assistance, we couldn't do it. We had a drop and shop event, and we had to move our tween dance. We have a dance every spring and every fall. We did it at the firehouse in the past, then we moved to Pennypack Elementary School, and now we're moving to College Settlement, and we came up with a partnership with them. They're in Horsham, and they're allowing us to go there for our dance, which is February 2nd. And on the Parks Division, we assisted with an Eagle Scout who brought a project before us to upgrade our archery range at Masons Mill Park. Coincidentally, that was on our schedule for this upcoming year, but the Eagle Scout saw it and assisted us with some of that work. So we helped him. We worked with the EAC to provide a 75-foot by 30-foot area at Pelagie Park for bird habitat and butterfly habitat. That is completed. It's not growing. We'll see it in the spring. We have removed the roller hockey rink at Veterans Memorial Park due to the condition. That work is maybe 80% done. We still have some more work to do to remove some of that material. And annually, Delaware Valley Insurance Trust provides us with an audit of our playgrounds and our parks and areas where maintenance is required or some other issues. I'm very happy to report, and I think I reported this in November, all of our issues, and I think there were maybe 13, are very, very minor. And as soon as we get that report, we make the repairs and we send a notice that we've made all those repairs to Divot. An example of what I'm talking about would be the safety surface under playgrounds has to be a minimum of 9 inches, the wood carpet. This time of year when they do the inspection in November, it's compacted from the year, so maybe it's down to 7 or 8 inches. we add a couple more inches. We do that every spring, and every summer we add wood carpet into our playgrounds to make sure they're always maintained at the level they're supposed to be. So we had no major glaring defects in any of our parks. All of them, all of the comments rated out as very minor. And that's a tribute to our parks maintenance staff. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I'm seeing, because I'm obsessed about the farmstead, electricity has been off for a long time. Is it still off?
The electricity is off. It was requested by the folks who are doing the repairs to the carriage house. The electricity comes into the carriage house and then disseminates out from there. They needed that electricity off, so we removed it. They then asked for temporary electricity, which was going to cost us $4,600. And then their work will be done in 30 days, so we would have to remove the temporary and reconnect the existing, which was another $5,000. So we decided not to do that. They're going to be done hopefully mid to end of February. We will rerun all the electricity.
Yeah, that's where the heat's off.
The heat is off. We did blow all the lines out in the farmhouse. Talked to Alan. Alan assisted with that. He was aware and he recommended this course as well.
All right. Another slot, but. I guess it'll come back to maybe commissioner comments. Going back up, I think we have the library report next.
Good evening. Obviously, I know Commissioner Skull. My name is Anthony Giannetti. I'm here representing the Upper Moreland Board of Trustees, the Library Board of Trustees. This is my second year on the board, and I live in Ward 6. Before I give the report, which will be very brief, I just want to do a public service announcement to the commissioners as well as the viewing audience. The board is currently seeking a nominee or an application for the 2025 Library Board. We are looking for someone who has a financial background. The Friends of the Library, which is our fundraising organization, is also seeking board members, and they are looking for someone who has public relations and fundraising. As everyone is aware, to be a member of the board of the library, the trustees, you need to be a resident of the township. But if you want to join the Friends, there is no residency requirement. So again, if there are any questions with that, you can always go to the website, or you can talk to our executive director, Kathy, who's always available. And now for the report. I've said this every time I've come before the board, the library, we're more than just books. So the three things I want to talk to you about tonight are kind of interesting. The first is we have a Going Green event. The first was, we're in collaboration with the Upper Moreland Environmental Advisory Council. And the first is on the 4th, February the 4th. And that's an introduction to making your property bird friendly. My wife is just enthused with the birds. We have 7 or 8 bird feeders on my property, and it's just nice. You see the cardinals come in, and it's really nice. And so if you want to learn more about making your residence bird friendly, the second thing is on the 21st, we have something about understanding your local land trust. I spend a lot of time in New Hope, and you drive through New Hope and Salisbury Township, and all you see is land trust, land trust, land trust. So again, it's something for our environment. The second thing is Legos. I'm not a Lego person, but the library is now hosting a new group of adult Lego. So you can join the library, and there's meetings where they build things. There's currently working on a castle. So that's something the library has to offer. So if you're a Lego enthusiast, come to the library. And the last is, we have a new escape room interactive mystery where, again, the library provides the information and you work through this whole scenario. Those are just a couple of the things that the libraries offer. It's more than books. If you come to the library, there's guitars to lend, sewing machines, So the more, I've been down here a year now, and every meeting I'm amazed at what we present. So those are just 3 quick things. I'll gladly offer or answer any questions if there are any. I know we had Ben at the meeting, and it was nice to see, and I know, Anthony, you're also on the board, so hopefully see you soon. Again, our thanks. We can't do it at the library what you allow us to do with your generous funding, and we appreciate that. I jokingly said to Kathy, when are we getting a new library? I heard we're getting a new, I kid you not, but again, thank you very much for your time, and
Sure.
thanks again.
Yeah, you need to go to the library website and check some things out. I've started to use it, and I discover if you want to find, for instance, love poems by Rumi. He's a 13th century poet and philosopher. You can find them. You can find what library they're at anywhere in Montgomery County. You can put them in reserve, and you can order them. They'll be delivered to us. Quite amazing. I've done talking books, same way. You borrow them just like you do on Amazon. What's Amazon? Amazon program, download books.
Oh, the Kindle.
Yeah, on Kindle, there you go. Except you don't have to pay for them. The only thing is you have to read them in a certain amount of time also. Anyway, so.
I was just there on Saturday checking out the video games. I didn't know that was a thing at libraries, that instead of spending $60 on a new video game, you can just rent it and, say you don't like it, you can bring it back, or you can renew it.
It's interesting, the library had an event at the end of the year, a New Year's celebration, and, Nick, I was there with Nick, and people come in and are amazed at what the library has to offer. The biggest comment was, we can eat and drink in the library because we had pretzels and drinks and all. And I said, yes, you can. They're like, holy cow, this isn't the library that I know, but yeah, there's, more people come in and just see what we have to offer. And, if you look at the statistics, we've done surveys, and it's a tribute to the Upper Moreland Library that people in other townships forego their own library and come to our library. So, that's a tribute to Kathy and the staff. I said, we have Margie left, Kathy's our new executive director. We just are very, very fortunate. We have a staff is as good as the police department and every other department we have here. We're very fortunate in this township. It's a small township, but we have so much to be proud of as residents of this township. And, and it's because of all you people on the board. Thank you very much, again.
Also, a shout out to the very hip social media team from the Free Public Library.
Yeah. Back in the day, 30 years ago, I always went to the Abington Library. It's like, or Barnes and Noble. Yeah. So, yeah, times have changed. All right, old business. Willow Grove Football Club building request.
Yes, this is continued over from November. The Willow Grove Bears approached the Parks and Rec Advisory Council about replacing their building, which is at Masons Mill Park. If you're familiar with the park, it's in deep center field of the baseball field. The building they built there is a small shed. It's from 2005. They presented their information to the Parks and Rec Advisory Council. Parks and Rec Advisory Council asked several questions and recommended that the Bears remove the current building and replace this new prefabricated building. The information is before you. It's a two-story structure. It's 16 feet by 28 feet. It will cost the Bears $35,000. There will be no water or restrooms in this building, and I'll get back to that in a little bit. This was delayed in November because a commissioner who's no longer on board had two questions. One is the concrete slab thick enough or sturdy enough to support the new building. Talked to codes enforcement, went out and measured it. It is. The second question was who's responsible and will we have a memorandum of understanding? We're in the process of working with the solicitor's office to formulate that memorandum of understanding. It's going to be the Bears are responsible for the building and everything about the building and all contents of the building, and we have no liability at all. So we need to just put that together, talk to the Bears, they've already agreed with that. So my recommendation would be that we move this forward so that the Bears can begin to move forward with their action plan. On a separate note, the Bears are requesting water and restrooms to the backfield, to the baseball field. Talking with our engineers, I don't want to conflate the two here, but to get a water line, just a water line back to the building is about $85,000. That is not a restroom and removal. So we're looking into self-contained restroom trailers that you would purchase or rent. It makes more sense to purchase if we're going to do this for more than 4 or 5 years. And I'm receiving some quotes for that right now. The trailer would sit in the back field. It's actually on a trailer. It's actually 3 restrooms that are on a trailer. And perhaps you've seen these before, a lot of beach communities in other areas. Very clean, very nice. But I'm trying to get a cost for that to at least have waste removal services out there at the backfield. Anyway, the building is $35,000, will not cost the township any funds. The Bears will take care of everything. They will go through codes enforcement as required. And I don't see anything that would prohibit this from being successful. Again, the Parks and Recreation Council also recommends this moves forward.
At one of the events that we had at Farmstead Park a few years ago, we rented one of those super duper restrooms, and it was very nice. Not like you would expect it to be. It's not your porta potty at all. All right, well, we're going to move that to the full board.
Sure.
Okay. Arbor Day proclamation.
As part of our recognition to Tree City USA, we have to reapply annually. And as part of that application, we need a proclamation. So what you have before you is a very similar proclamation to what the president of the board signed last year. And this year we're recognizing April 26th as Arbor Day for our Arbor Day proclamation. I think that's the same day that the EAC is doing an event out at Masons Mill Park. Yeah.
2 days difference.
Okay. So this is a formality so that we can make the application. It is a housekeeping item. It's something that we did last year, and I would recommend that we move this forward for action so the president can sign that and we can make the application.
Does this have anything to do with the tree commission?
I'm sorry?
Does this have anything to do with the tree commission?
It does. Yeah, so we appointed the Shade Tree Commission, and we also applied for the Tree City. As part of that application, you need this proclamation. You also have to complete a number of pieces of information for them. What kind of work have you done with trees? Where have you planted? How many have you planted? What the cost is? How your maintenance is? And we do that in the Parks and Rec Department. We'll fill out all that information.
I'd like to hear that
Certainly.
when it gets done.
Sure.
Letter B here, the draft resolution for the April 2024 Earth Day event. This is about the animals, maybe?
It is, but the proclamation, we'll move that forward for consideration.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay, thank you. This is an annual request from the EAC to hold the Earth Day event out at Masons Mill Park. They want to have a disc jockey, animals for animal education purposes, and a food truck. This has not been disapproved in the past. It's always been approved, I guess I should say. We, the Parks and Rec Department, have no concern with this, and I would recommend that we move this forward. Just as a side note, as you make this decision, a couple of years ago, we talked about, the board did, providing the director with the authority to approve this so that it doesn't have to go before the board.
What we did.
We moved it forward. We never got we didn't receive the resolution, and I'll be reaching out to the solicitor's office to get a resolution together, or it's an ordinance right now. So we need to change the ordinance, and we thought the best way to do that would be through resolution to give the director.
You have to change your ordinance with ordinance.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, you can then do it in the future by resolution,
okay.
but you can't change an ordinance with a resolution unless it says you can change with a resolution.
Well, I think that's something then we need to talk after the meeting to see how we're going to proceed, but I would recommend we put that back on
Oh, yeah.
the agenda so we can
Okay,
discuss
so
that.
it's like, oh,
In this case, there's no concern from the Parks and Rec Department. This is an annual event, and it's always worked out wonderfully.
right. And the only concern was the animals. It's like, okay. But I agree, it should be in your authority. All right, we'll move that forward. And other items, a verbal update on the spring 2024 newsletter.
Just to give the board an update, the newsletter is put together in my department. I request information from various sources, different departments, different organizations in the community. They had to provide that to me about a week ago, 10 days ago. Organize all that information. I send it out to our editor, who adds all the commas and other grammatical mistakes that are in there, and then forward it to the design team, which they do now have it. The newsletter is scheduled to be delivered mid-March, somewhere around March 15th. So residents can expect to receive the newsletter at that point. About a week prior to that, we get the newsletter and we post it online. So residents should be able to see our township newsletter in early March.
Somewhere along the line, I heard a concern about space in the newsletter. And I couldn't understand why there would be a concern. Can't they just add more pages?
If we add more pages, we go over the mailing cost. So we're trying to keep it, it costs us about, I'm gonna try to recall, I think it's $2,600 every time we mail it. If we add one more page, our cost will more than double to mail the newsletter each time. So we try to keep it at that consistent number of pages.
Okay. All right, are there any visitor comments? Here, up.
Just want to quickly reiterate that our Going Green Talks are starting again this weekend, with the first one on, as was mentioned by the library, is Sunday, February 4th at 1 p.m. at the library, and it's about creating bird habitat and bird safety in your yard. So anybody that could send that out to their constituents, we'd greatly appreciate it. Again, Sunday at 1.
Great. I have a commissioner comment. The plastic bag resolution went into effect January 1st. And I never comment on Facebook, but I read a lot of the posts. There was all this, all these negative things about it. And there was an article in the newspaper recently that in Jersey, the cost of plastic is actually going up now because they're making more of these plastic bags. And everyone's, they're so foolish, these commissioners, that they should have known this. And I would love, if I would comment, I would love to say, yeah, well, how about all the plastic bags that end up in our park and we have to pay to clean them up? And also, you got to start somewhere, right? But anyway, I think it's pretty much been well accepted. I don't hear too many complaints. As people often say, well, there are 25 people on Facebook. There are 25,000 people in the township, so you're not necessarily hearing from everybody. Any comments? Further comments?
No.
Okay. With that, we're adjourned.